friends. So today we are talking pleasure. I'll explain why this podcast has the name that it does, why I call myself the Black Pleasure Coach, and all that jazz. This is that episode. So get excited. So, to me, the pleasure principle, what I coach on and what I have brought into my practice so heavily is that the idea that when a Black woman or a Black person socialized as a woman centers and prioritizes their own pleasure, it's one of the single most powerful acts of resistance against the patriarchy, capitalism, racism, and literally every other force designed to control us. So, what is pleasure? So, the Oxford Language Dictionary defines pleasure as first, as a noun, either the enjoyment and entertainment contrasted with things done out of necessity, or a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. As an adjective, it's used or intended for entertainment rather than business. And as a verb, it's to give sexual or non sexual enjoyment or satisfaction to, and to derive enjoyment from. So, with all of these definitions, it's not something that you do just because, it's something you go out your way to do. It's not necessary, it's for the fun of it, it's for the enjoyment, it's for the joy. And pleasure itself is subjective and personal. It can be sexual and non-sexual, solitary activity, or one that you share with somebody else. And it could be anything you want it to be. Primarily, pleasure takes you from a state of doing to a state of being. So you really go from worrying about the future or worrying about the past to really being in the present and just enjoying where you're at. It allows you to just be and fully experience the present. So, pleasure allows you to just enjoy existing as is, just for the fun of it. And the human brain has evolved to be hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That is how we work. That's how we've been able to survive for all these years, is we seek pleasure and we avoid pain. So when an individual experiences pleasure, dopamine, or the feel-good hormone, is released from the brain as part of a reward system. So you keep going after that pleasure. So pleasure is also associated with serotonin and oxytocin, which are also some feel-good hormones. So pleasure plays such a big role in your life. It's more than relaxing and having fun. It actually influences your mood, your sleep, eating, digesting, literally how your cells communicate with each other, your memory, social behaviors like trust and empathy, communication, bonding, and things of that nature. So, yes, of course, our brains crave it. The hormones that are released when we experience pleasure can also offset cortisol. So cortisol affects a lot of different functions in the body, and it curbs non-essential functions to prepare you for a stress response. So that's the fight, flight, or freeze. So cortisol, that's the hormone in your brain, your lizard brain or your toddler brain, the part of your brain that just does what it needs to survive. It lets that part of your brain run wild in an attempt to protect you from anything that it deems as dangerous. So, mind you, this is the brain that got rewarded for running away from a bush that was blowing in the wind because there could have been a tiger in it. So, your brain is seeking out things that are dangerous. It's always looking for something that's dangerous because that's just what it's programmed to do. The more that you practice pleasure, the more that you help decrease those stress hormones with those by increasing your feel good hormones, the lower your cortisol levels are in your body. So your brain is functioning better. You can make better decisions and you can literally lower your stress levels in your body by practicing pleasure. Common question: is all pleasure good pleasure? Or can we have too much of a good thing? So, in my opinion, maybe, maybe not. But I'm gonna have a great time trying to figure it out. In all serious though, um, we can try to seek pleasure when we're actually trying to avoid pain. And when we're doing that, we're buffering or we're trying to do something to avoid a negative emotion or an emotion that we don't really want to feel. And it's a form of pseudo pleasure. So I describe a pseudo pleasure as something that you do that can be pleasurable, that you do derive pleasure from, that you do get dopamine from in other contexts. But in this context, you're trying to use it to numb out or to override a negative emotion that you don't want to feel. So it's not allowing you to create space. It's really just pushing down how you actually feel and covering up with trying like a light fix, a bullet hole, a band-aid over a bullet hole, if you will. So when you buffer or when you engage in a pseudo pleasure, you don't really allow yourself to be in the act that you find pleasurable. You're kind of just using it to get a quick fix. Instead of a lasting solution. Pseudo pleasures actually prevent you from true enjoyment. And if you do this, please don't shame yourself. It's literally something that everybody does all the time. I buffer probably daily. I'm just aware of it. So I'm just calling it out so you can be aware of it too. So, on the flip side of that, a genuine pleasure is something that actually gives you space. It creates abundance instead of scarcity for you, and allows you to experience whatever you're doing as pleasurable and get joy from it. So it allows you to be satiated and satisfied instead of that quick fix and yearning for more. So it's definitely not my job or my place to say what things count as a genuine pleasure versus a pseudo pleasure. That's literally up to each person and what they find pleasurable, what vibes with them. But to tell the difference, you can really just check in with yourself and ask, am I doing this to distract, avoid, and numb? Or am I doing this to enjoy, delight, and entertain? And kind of see where you're coming from, what energy you're coming from when you're taking that action. So you can deem if it's you trying to buffer and feel better, or if it's you actually doing the thing to enjoy it. So there's got to be more to life than just pleasure. Yeah, of course there is. So if everything was pleasurable, then nothing would be. Like for us to actually know pleasure, we must also know pain. And that's what life is, the 50-50. So I am in the belief, my teachers teach and also believe that life is 50-50, no matter who you are, where you are, how you live, how much money you have. Life's going to be good half the time and life's going to be shitty half the time. Those measurements may differ slightly between person to person, but the catch is everybody has positive and negative emotions, or better said, emotions they like to feel and prefer to feel versus emotions that they would rather avoid. The relationship between experiencing those emotions, between that pleasure and that pain, is directly correlated. So when you resist one, you actually end up resisting the other. Just the same as if you allow one, you also allow the other. This means when you, like we talked about last week, and if you haven't heard it yet, go back and listen. When you increase your ability to experience negative emotions or emotions you don't like, when you increase your discomfort tolerance, not only do you get better results on the way to getting what you want, but you also increase your tolerance to experience pleasure because the more bad stuff you're willing to experience, the more good stuff you're also willing to experience. So it's directly correlated. And we will be talking about ways to increase your pleasure cap on a podcast soon. So, on the kind of other hand of that correlation, pseudo pleasure is indirectly correlated to pain or other emotions that you don't really want. So, when you indulge in those pseudo pleasures, you actually don't give yourself space to process anything you're actually feeling because you just numb it out. So you don't even allow yourself to become aware of it or learn anything from it. So allowing your pain and processing it can be the gateway to your pleasure because it also allows for an increase in stress recovery and a resilient mindset. The pain and the grief that you feel can be a precursor to the pleasure that's available to you. It's all about how you use your experiences to shape you and who you are and what you want that to be and what you want that to look like. So your pain, it has a purpose, and understanding that, allowing it, processing it, letting it be there, getting familiar with it, and that's how you allow yourself to grow and expand and get through it to the other side. The only way out is through. And when you don't resist it or fight the emotions that you don't really want to feel, you allow it to just exist as it is. It gives you the message that it wants to give you. It's metabolizes in your body. It, like that feeling, it has an energy, it has a frequency, and it needs to be acknowledged so it can be released. So when you allow that, it's able to move on. So that's why crying or EFT or just really getting into the body can be so cathartic to people, because it allows you to process and create space for other things. So instead of searching for relief at the bottom of a bottle or in a toxic relationship or whatever pseudo pleasure you may have, you actually are able to create safety in a reality that you don't have to be relieved from. So, just want to give you a quick reminder here that you don't always have to be strong, you don't always have to be on guard, and you don't always have to be on point. You can give yourself permission to feel as you are and allow that to be okay, because whatever it is, it's okay. So, why is pleasure so important? Like, what's the key? So, for women or people socialized as women, especially people socialized as Black women, we have been taught to put everyone else's needs before our own. We've even been taught or told that it's selfish to prioritize our own needs, to put ourselves first, to do something before your partner or your kids or your coworkers or whoever. To even think about putting yourself first can be selfish, which is wild. And this is speaking in the context of a westernized, capitalistic, patriarchal society that's built on racism, sexism, ableism, fat phobia, misogyny, misogyno, or all that other shit. But here in this world, a Black woman's pleasure has been demonized and vilified. And we've been conditioned to look down on our natural features, our natural hair, our natural curves. We've been told that our pure existence is a threat and that we must conform to the Eurocentric standards of beauty, just to live a public life and survive. And this is all while white people are monetizing and benefiting from our bodies, our minds, and our creativity, our labor, our effort, us in general. And this is from Black wet nurses literally being forced to feed and nurture white youth over our own, to today's white women and other races blackfishing for social media attention and monetization and everything in between. And we've been told over and over and over again that our bodies are not our own and that we are here for the pleasure and service of others. And to that, I say, fuck it and fuck it all. When we are spending time striving for perfection based on somebody else's standards and code switching or changing ourselves into different variations to fit the different needs of any social situation or setting. And that's all in order to fit ourselves into a box that was never even made for us. And that box, which frankly can't even comprehend how to contain our true essence. And like just trying to continue to do that is a disservice to ourselves and our communities. Perfectionist tendencies and people pleasing are grounded in the need to fit in, the need to feel worthy, the idea that we have to work twice as hard to get half as much. And it's really grounded in the idea that other people's enjoyment, other people's pleasure, um, other people's happiness is more important than our own. And so much so that we either choose consciously or unconsciously to center everybody else's pleasure in our lives before our own. And the irony with that is when we focus our own pleasure and centering that and prioritizing that, there's no longer a need to strive for perfection or people pleasing because we shift our focus inward. We're not worried about doing something in a way that somebody else will see it's good because we ourselves see it's good, and that's enough. And when we love ourselves first and we have our own back no matter what, we regain our most carnal power and control. Pleasure is how we heal. Pleasure is how we grow. Pleasure is how we thrive. Pleasure is how we rise. And a Black woman's pleasure is an act of resistance. It's one of the most single profound ways to spark not only an internal revolution for an individual person, but a societal one. A Black woman's pleasure is the revolution. And if you're wondering how you can start centering your own pleasure, you can follow these few steps. So, one, recognize and detach from the shame associated with how you currently view your own pleasure. This can be a tall order on your own, which is why you can always hire a coach and get direct help and a specialized eye to help see what you can possibly be missing and teach you another way of looking at it. The next step is to experiment. So, with this, when you're trying to find what you like, find what gives you pleasure, brings you joy, just try things out. See what you like and you don't like, and find ways to add pleasure into your daily routine. And know that these don't have to be grand gestures or big things that take up a lot of time in your day. Honestly, one of my biggest daily joys is cuddling with my dog. He's so cute, and it just makes my heart happy. And just finding those things that, like, no matter if they work for other people or what other people think, they work for you. So try it out, have some fun, ask your friends, see what other people do or get ideas, and then just try things out. And don't give up if you don't find things you like right away, if it takes some time. It's not something that we are taught to do or to really figure out. So if you've never done it before, give yourself some time to figure it out. And then 3, you got to do the work to figure out who you truly are, who your most authentic version of yourself is, what you want, and actively going and getting it. And again, a coach can help with that. And then growing your confidence, which is having your own back and meeting your own needs, and the ability to just know that no matter the situation, you have the confidence to take care of you. You can always have your own back no matter what. And again, it's a practice, but a coach can help. And then finally, rinse and repeat. Keep going, keep trying, keep executing these same steps in different areas of your life, and you will see this transform everything. tenfold. So, with that, I want you to go out there and find your pleasure, make it your own priority. Don't be scared to put yourself first because that's what you're supposed to do. It's just society that tells us differently because they want us to stay the same. They want us to not grow. They want us to not speak up about things that can be different or better for us. And why do we want to keep doing what they want? So let's go ahead and do what we want. And the first step to doing that is figuring it out. So put yourself first, find your own pleasure, and reach out and let me know how it's going for y'all and what you're doing and what you're learning. I would love to hear it. But with that, I will talk to you soon, my friends. See ya.